Well, today we'll be discussing unlocking the true potential of DeFi, and joining me is Dorian Johannink, co-founder and business director of Sylo. So Dorian, thank you so much for joining me on the line today.
Thanks, Jess. Great to be here.
It's great to talk to you, and what an exciting time that we have had during 2020. DeFi has really gone from being this huge buzzword. It's now an $8 billion industry. I'd love to get your insights on just how you view the true potential of DeFi at the present time.
Yeah. It's been a really interesting development. I mean, particularly if you've been following it for the last few months, you've obviously seen the big spike in interest going into it. I mean, from my perspective, I think it's a great thing for the industry. Since sort of the inception of crypto in general, that was an innovation area focused on money. And what we're seeing pop up now with DeFi is innovation specifically focused on the finance industry. Which is pretty cool. I think we're going to see some really interesting stuff pop out over the next period of time. Definitely see some interesting noise, some ups and downs. But I think overall it's a great thing for the industry as a whole. It's brought fresh enthusiasm into the space, rejuvenation, as you could almost call it, as well as some kind of samples of real potential of improving and some things in the traditional financial system.
Absolutely, and for a lot of people that have been following the cryptocurrency space for several years, I think 2020 has really proved something tangible with decentralized finance that they can really take away and see it as being something that's implemented. So it's a huge positive progression for the space. One area that I do have to touch on, I'd love to get your insights on, is just price movement that we have seen for DeFi related projects. We have seen some huge price speculations, and some people even comparing DeFi to this ICO craze that we did see in 2017 for those that were in the space and do remember. And I want to get your insights if that's something that you view as being positive for the space or something that might be slightly concerning.
I mean, there's obviously two sides to the coin, but I think the spikes are necessary in order to bring the feet through the door and get the eyes open and get the interest at a wider scope in the industry. I think we're definitely going to see a flattening. I mean, we've already seen a couple of pops already just in the short time frame that we've seen this year for some of the projects coming up. But I think that kind of brings the attention, and then they'll level out, and you'll have those solid projects coming through. You know, we've seen some definite pop-ups, the kimchis of the world, but then you've also got the fundamental projects like the Aves of the world, the synthetics that have been building these technologies for quite a period of time. They're just hitting their stride now, which is great. And I think what we'll see is a pop-up and a simmering, and then we'll have projects figuring out how to build these features into their fundamentals in quite a great way to give a really good service offering. But I think in general, it's a great thing to have innovation in this area. You know, in the world now, we've got with governments printing money, with banks offering little to no interest on the savings and accounts. People are chasing yield, and I think this is a really, really cool way to show that these yields can be produced on different assets in different ways. And the key word is financial experimentation. And this is the perfect space to do it. But with experimentation, you're going to have the fluff, the stuff that doesn't work out, obviously the nefarious actors. But then we should have the fruits that come out the back end of it, which should be good.
And some smart investing as well, I guess. And you mentioned projects there. So out of interest, are there any projects to you at the moment that you're following closely for development, or projects that you think have a lot of potential in this DeFi community that we're seeing?
Yeah. I guess two key projects I've been keeping my eye on is one's Aave and one's synthetics. And primary reasons behind those is that those ones have been building tech in the space with a focus. They've pivoted slightly, but they've been around for a few years, really focusing on this fintech angle and producing yield and finding financial innovations to build into their core product offerings that can then be used across other projects and other platforms. Which are really great. They haven't just popped up for the sake of, yield farming, producing short-term returns and popping off the radar. But I think they've been building really fundamental concepts that other projects can look to build in. Even ourselves, we're looking to start introducing DeFi components in the coming quarter. We've got a pretty cool collaboration that's coming up with a big name in the next couple of months as well, which is awesome. And I think all these pieces come together in a really solid way, because you need those solid actors to kind of legitimize the space. I think one of the big pieces with DeFi is going to be its need to show stability of returns, so that it's not just a massive fluctuating curve. And I think some of these key pieces and these foundational projects are going to really help that space.
And when we look at some of the DeFi kind of applications and loans that we are seeing, and there's this whole issue with under-collateralized and also over-collateralized, is that an issue or a challenge that you see in the industry at the moment, and something where we will be able to see under-collateralized loans being available for the DeFi community at some point in the near future?
I think nothing is off the radar, so I'd probably say yes. The key word which I just mentioned before is financial experiments. I think what we're doing now is shaking up traditional finance in a big way, with a lot of focus on it. So you're going to see experiments into every aspect of finance through these protocols and through these approaches. So whether or not it works out for the long run or not, I definitely think we'll see a crack at nearly every component of traditional finance moving forward, definitely.
And I know just recently as well, there has been a huge figure that's come out when comparing Ethereum mining volume compared to Bitcoin mining, and it just showed the sheer value and the sheer power behind this trend at the moment, and this industry support that we are seeing. But when it comes to the kind of the counter argument, any challenges in the space, are there any challenges that you're able to identify that might potentially create almost a roadblock for this DeFi industry as we move forward?
Definitely. I think we've seen, particularly in the last few months, some massive potential pop out in what can be done in the space. I think, as I mentioned before, a key piece is going to be stability. Seeing some of these projects hang around, seeing people actually be able to get long-term consistent yield through these projects. Get rid of the fluff, get rid of the noise, some of the nefarious actors, some of the pump and dumps. Sorry to use the term, but it is what it is. We're going to move through that curve to get to the other side and really grasp onto some of these innovations. I think also it's going to be some of these projects working with mainstream institutions. We're actually working closely with a company that's involved with a pretty serious project, sovereign-backed connection within New Zealand, which is really exciting to see. And I think connecting those dots and crossing that bridge between the potential and how to get this into mainstream adoption, that's going to be the key.
Absolutely. Well, Dorian, it was such a pleasure to catch up. I know we'll be having a few more conversations in the near future, which I'm really looking forward to. But thank you so much for your insight today.
Thanks, Jess. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Well, that's all from myself and Dorian, but we'd love to hear if you're looking to get involved in the DeFi space. Share a thought and your comments in the comment box below.